New allegations about how ICE is operating under the Trump administration. There is a new video that appears to depict federal agents detaining and using violence and injuring an immigrant father of 3 United States Marines. While this type of treatment, if it is unprovoked and out of context, is wrong in any capacity, certainly against protocols, possibly illegal, again, depending on the details, this has stoked extra outrage over this family because the 48-year-old Narciso Barranco was identified by one of his own sons who said he was doing work as a landscaper when several masked men approached him, pinned him down, and then were beating him when he tried to get away from the treatment. Now, as always, the warning, the video is graphic. In those partial clips, the use of force looks excessive if he is effectively detained. His sons are American citizens and also served, as mentioned, and one says Barranco was pepper sprayed, beaten, his shoulder was dislocated, he had not received medical treatment for what they say were those pieces of results of the violence you see on camera. And they say that he hasn't got enough food or water after 24 hours in L.A. detention. A DHS official confirmed to the L.A. Times that Barranco is in custody, alleging that he, quote, swung a weed whacker directly at an agent's face and refused to comply. And they are describing at least part of what we saw on video as, quote, appropriate action that followed the agent's training. I'm joined by Maya Wiley, an SDNY civil prosecutor, human rights advocate, who also in the city of New York worked specifically on these issues in police training and alleged police brutality incidents. Welcome back, Maya. As always, I caution, we don't necessarily have the full story in the video. From a policing and legal standpoint, the video looks bad, but we don't have everything that may have happened prior. With that said, based on what you see here, one, how do you view the tactics? And two, how do you view the concern from many experts and critics that under the Trump administration, it seems that ICE and other federal agencies are ramping up use of force or violence?
Well, Ari, I mean, you said it so well. It's impossible to look at this video and not be deeply disturbed and demand an investigation of the conduct of these officers. You're right that an investigation means an investigation. But look, we see a man on the ground, and as his son points out, 5'6" 5'7" tall, 150 pounds, and we see multiple agents. Many of them are quite large, and he quite clearly looks unable to create any harm to those officers. Now, that is one of the findings of fact that an investigation would undertake. Yeah. But everything we're seeing here is consistent with what we've heard from the Trump administration. Let's be clear. There has been an increased pressure on ICE agents, Border Patrol agents, to get their numbers up. And this is an administration that has a policing executive order that has quite explicitly said that they want to, quote, unquote, unleash law enforcement. I mean, every indicator that it's sent, including in its own executive actions, trying to create less accountability, is for ICE and an agency in the Department of Homeland Security that has iced out accountability, transparency, and oversight. This is, by the way, predates this administration. We should make that clear. This is an ongoing issue for civil rights and human rights advocates. But there's no question that it's escalating, and there's no question, I think, in many of our minds, that communities are literally being targeted because of how they look. That's also racial profiling.
Yeah, and immigration policy can often try to tell folks, hey, it'll be hard when you get here, or we're not going to make it easy to get benefits, or driver's licenses has been a debate. Those are policy choices. Walk us through why it is not acceptable or policy to threaten abuse, violence, what are potentially illegal acts as a consequence for being here in an undocumented capacity.
Well, it's quite simple, Ari, really, is we have a Constitution of the United States of America. And the Constitution is quite clear and quite plain. And the interpretation of our Constitution has been quite clear and quite plain. People have the right to process that is due. That means the ability to see a judge and to be determined whether or not there's action that can be taken against them. But no one, whether you're in a facility detained or on a street corner, should be treated violently. That is a violation of the Fourth Amendment. That can be a violation of the First Amendment, depending on whether someone's peacefully protesting or doing anything else. And, we should remember, you also have a constitutional right to be treated well and in humane conditions when you are in detention. I mean, we are also hearing concerns about whether or not, and not just for Mr. Barranco, but for others in detention, including children, whether there's adequate heat, whether they're getting food and nutrition. So all of these are issues that our Constitution says, yeah, you don't actually get to treat people cruelly and unusually, and you don't get to take their lives or their liberty from them. And I want to make one other point quickly, because we're hearing that Mr. Barranco may not have gotten medical treatment. We've had 52 people die in ICE custody in detention because they didn't get adequate medical treatment between 2017 and 2021. We should be very concerned that anyone treated this way could be any of us.